Listen to me, if you think your story is over, if you think the pain you've been through was the final chapter, let me tell you, God's not through with you. I don't care how broken you feel, how many mistakes you've made, or how many times life has knocked you down. If you are still breathing, then he is still working. The enemy wants you to believe it's too late. But I came here to tell you, your delay is not your defeat, and your failure is not your finale. God is still writing your story. Your past does not disqualify you. I don't care what they said about you, what you've said about yourself, or how many times you've fallen short. I don't care if you've made mistakes so big you think they can never be erased. Listen to me. God is not finished with you. You are not defined by where you've been, but by where you are going. People will try to label you by your failures. They'll call you by your lowest moments, by your greatest regrets. They'll remind you of the time you messed up, the time you lost control, the time you went too far. But let me tell you something. What they call you is not who you are. You are not your mistake. You are not your weakness. You are not the bad decisions you made in the past. The world may try to chain you to your history, but God is the one who holds your... There are people walking around right now carrying guilt that was never meant for them to carry. They are living under shame like it's a heavy cloak wrapped around their shoulders, making them believe they're not worthy of grace, not worthy of another chance. But let me shake you out of that lie today. If you have breath in your body, if your heart is still beating, that means there is still purpose in your life. That means God's plan is still in motion. That means you are not disqualified. You see, people like to put periods where God puts commas. They see your failure and say, that's it, it's over, they're done. But God looks at you and says, I'm not through yet. What the world calls finished, he calls unfinished. What the world calls ruined, he calls redeemed. What the world calls broken, he calls chosen. Think about the ones who came before you. There were people who doubted themselves, people who thought they were too far gone, too flawed, too unworthy to be used. And yet they were the very ones who rose up and did great things. Because God does not choose the perfect. He perfects the chosen. He takes the unqualified and makes them qualified. He takes the rejected and turns them into vessels of honor. So stop looking at your past like it's a prison cell you'll never escape from. Stop believing that your failures have the final say. Your past is not your future. The story is not over. No matter how far you think you've fallen, no matter how many detours you've taken, God is still reaching for you. You are still in his hands. And as long as you are in his hands, your past can never cancel his promise. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Just because you haven't seen the answer doesn't mean the answer isn't on the way. Just because the door hasn't opened doesn't mean it's locked. Too many people give up in the waiting season because they mistake delay for denial. They start believing that because things haven't changed yet, they never will. They let time weaken their faith. They let waiting convince them that they're wasting their time. But listen to me. God's timing is not your timing. And what feels like a delay to you is not a denial from him. Think about a seed planted deep in the soil. You don't see anything happening on the surface. Day after day, week after week, it looks like nothing is changing. You could stand over that soil and cry. You could get frustrated. You could wonder why you don't see results, but the seed is still growing. Underneath the surface, where you can't see it, roots are being established. A foundation is being laid. There is movement. There is preparation. There is life forming in the unseen. And when the time is right, when the season has reached its fullness, that seed will break through the ground and reveal what has been growing all along. That is how God works. He is not on your schedule and he is not bound by your expectation. You may be praying for something, hoping for something, fighting for something, and it seems like nothing is happening, but don't you dare lose heart. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not working. Just because it's taking longer than you thought doesn't mean it's not coming. You have to trust that the delay is not a denial, but a divine preparation. Too many people walk away from their blessing because they get tired of waiting. They abandon the promise because it didn't happen fast enough. They let doubt whisper in their ear, telling them, if it was really meant for you, it would have happened by now. But what if the delay isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? What if what you're asking for is bigger than what you can handle right now? What if God is getting you ready so that when the blessing comes, you won't just receive it, you'll be able to keep it? There are things you've been praying for, things you've been waiting on, things you've been struggling to hold on to faith for. And I know the waiting is hard. I know it feels like nothing is happening. I know it's tempting to give up. But hear me when I say your waiting is not wasted. Every second that passes is shaping you, refining you, building you for the moment when the promise is revealed. You don't get to control the timing. You don't get to dictate when or how the breakthrough happens. But what you can control is how you wait. Are you waiting with faith or are you waiting with fear? Are you standing on the promise or are you sinking into doubt? Because I came to tell you today, don't let the delay make you quit. Don't let the waiting season make you give up on what God has spoken over your life. If He said it, He will do it. If He promised it, He will bring it to pass. It may not happen when you expect it. It may not come the way you thought it would, but when it happens, you will see why it had to take time. You will see why the delay was necessary. You will see why you had to wait, because when it comes, it will be perfectly timed, perfectly planned, and perfectly prepared for you. So don't give up. Don't walk away. Don't let impatience rob you of what's meant for you. The delay is not a denial. It is only proof that something greater is being prepared for you. What you thought was a setback was really a setup. What you thought was a loss was really a lesson. What you thought was a dead end was really a detour to something greater. Sometimes life hits you so hard that you start thinking you'll never recover. You start believing that the disappointment, the failure, the heartbreak, or the betrayal is the end of your story. You start accepting the lie that this is as far as you'll go, that this is where your journey stops. But let me shake you out of that. Today, your setback is not your story. It is just a scene in the story that God is still writing. I know you've been through some things that don't make sense. I know you've cried over losses you never expected to take. I know you felt the weight of rejection, the sting of failure, the frustration of feeling like you're trying so hard, but nothing is working. But hear me, just because it didn't work out the way you planned doesn't mean it's not working out the way it was supposed to. What if the thing you lost was actually saving you? What if the job that let you go was making room for something greater? What if the relationship that fell apart was never supposed to last because God had something better ahead? You see, we don't always understand why certain doors close. We don't always see why things fall apart, but what looks like a setback to you is often a setup in disguise. God is shifting things, moving things, preparing things for your future that you can't even comprehend. And if you could see what He was setting up for you, you wouldn't cry over what you lost. You would praise Him for what's coming. Have you ever looked back at something in your life that once felt like the worst thing that could happen, but now you see it was the best thing that ever happened? In the moment, it felt like devastation, but now you see it was deliverance. In the moment, you felt like everything was falling apart, but now you see that it was actually falling into place. But sometimes the biggest blessings come wrapped in the disguise of disappointment. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come through what feels like a breakdown. Sometimes your lowest point is really just the foundation for your highest calling. But in the middle of it, when you're in the fire, when you're in the storm, when you're in the waiting room of life, it's hard to see it. That's why you have to hold on. That's why you can't let discouragement take you out. That's why you can't let failure convince you to quit. Because what if this setback is just a setup for something so much bigger than you imagined? What if this heartbreak is actually healing you for something greater? What if the very thing you're crying over today will be the thing you thank God for tomorrow? Let me tell you something. God does not waste pain. He does not waste disappointments. He does not waste the trials you've been through. Every tear, every loss, every struggle, it's all being worked into something that will ultimately bring you into the place He has prepared for you. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is meaningless. Nothing is without purpose. So don't let the setback make you bitter. Let it make you better. Don't let it harden your heart. Let it strengthen your faith. Don't let it convince you that God has forgotten you. Let it remind you that He is setting you up for something greater than you can see right now. You may not understand it in the moment, but you will see the purpose in it when you reach the other side. Your setback is not the end of your story. It's not even the climax. It's just the setup for something that is going to blow your mind. What's ahead of you is greater than what's behind you. What's being prepared for you is far bigger than what you lost. And when it all comes together, you will look back and understand that what you thought was a setback was really the greatest setup of your life. The pain you have been through was not without purpose. The tears you cried were not in vain. The nights you spent wondering why. The moments you felt like you couldn't go on. The seasons where you questioned everything. None of it was wasted. Every struggle, every hardship, every moment of suffering was shaping you, molding you, preparing you for something greater than you could have ever imagined. Pain has a way of making us believe that we are forgotten. It makes us feel isolated, like we are the only ones walking through the fire. It whispers lies that tell us we are being punished, that we are being abandoned, that we are not strong enough to handle what life has thrown at us. But I need you to hear this. Your pain is not pointless. Your suffering is not random. There is purpose in what you have been through. Think about it. Some of the strongest, wisest, most powerful people you know have been through some of the hardest battles. They didn't become strong because life was easy. They didn't gain wisdom because everything always went their way. No, they were forged in the fire. They were tested in the storm. They were shaped through the very trials that tried to break them. Because pain has a way of revealing what is inside of us. It has a way of exposing the strength we didn't know we had. Pain can do one of two things. It can break you or it can build you. It can make you bitter or it can make you better. It can make you want to quit or it can push you to fight harder. And the choice is yours. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. You can let your pain define you, or you can let it refine you. You can let it destroy you, or you can let it develop you. If you've ever been through deep pain, you know that it changes you. It shifts your perspective. It forces you to see things differently. It takes you to places within yourself that you never would have explored if life had been easy. It breaks down your pride, your illusions of control, your assumptions about how things are supposed to be. And as painful as that breaking process is, it is necessary. Because sometimes, in order to be rebuilt into something stronger, we have to be broken first. Look at the lessons you have learned through your struggles, the patience that was developed through waiting, the wisdom that came through experience, the strength that was built through endurance. If life had been easy, you wouldn't be the person you are today. If everything had gone according to your plan, you wouldn't have the depth, the resilience, the character that you now carry. And let me tell you, your pain was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. Have you ever seen how gold is refined? It has to go through fire. It has to be heated to extreme temperature so that the impurities rise to the surface and can be removed. The fire does not destroy the gold, it purifies it. It makes it more valuable, more radiant, more refined. And the same is true for you. The fire you have walked through was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to refine you, to shape you into the person you were always meant to be. And do you know what happens when you come out of the fire? You are no longer the same. You are stronger, wiser, more prepared for what is ahead. And not only that, but your story becomes something that others can draw strength from. Your pain becomes the very thing that helps someone else make it through their own battle. The lessons you learned in the dark become the light that leads someone else out of their darkness. So don't let your pain be wasted. Don't let it make you bitter when it was meant to make you better. Don't let it make you feel defeated when it was meant to push you into victory. There is purpose in what you've been through. There is meaning in the pain. And when you finally see the full picture, when you finally step into what has been prepared for you, you will realize that everything you endured was working together for something far greater than you ever imagined. There is a time for everything, a time to wait and a time to move, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to struggle and a time to rise. But the problem is we want to control the timing. We want things to happen when we expect them, when we plan for them, when it feels right to us. And when it doesn't happen on our schedule, we get frustrated. We start to doubt. We start to question if it will ever happen at all. But listen to me, just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Just because you don't see it now doesn't mean it's not already on the way. You are living in time, but the one who holds your future is outside of time. You see only what is in front of you, but he sees the full picture. You want the blessing now, the breakthrough now, the answer now. But have you ever stopped to ask, am I really ready for what I'm asking for? Because sometimes the very thing you are praying for is so big, so powerful, so life-changing that if you received it too soon, it would overwhelm you. It would slip through your fingers. It would crush you under its weight. Have you ever seen a child beg to drive a car? They don't understand that just because they desire something doesn't mean they're ready for it. They think they can handle it. But if you put them behind the wheel too soon, they wouldn't make it down the street. Not because they aren't meant to drive, but because there is a right time for everything. There is a time for learning, a time for growing, a time for preparing, and then when they are ready, they step into what was always meant for them. The same is true for you. You are asking for things that require preparation. You are waiting for things that demand growth. You are believing for things that are coming in a specific time, not just any time. And if you don't understand that, you will become discouraged. You will start to believe that waiting means forgotten, that delay means denial, that silence means rejection. But hear me today. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean there's no movement happening. Just because you don't feel progress doesn't mean progress isn't being made. Think about an artist working on a masterpiece. The canvas looks empty at first. Then there are a few brush strokes that don't make sense. The image seems scattered, the colors seem random. If you walked in too soon, you would think there was no purpose, no structure, no direction. But when the artist is done, when the final stroke is placed and the full picture is revealed, you finally see what was happening all along. That is what waiting feels like. It feels like nothing is happening, but the artist is still working. The details are being added, the connections are being formed, the right people are being positioned, the right doors are being prepared. You don't see it yet because the painting isn't finished. You don't feel it yet because the foundation is still being laid. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. There is power in the waiting season. This is where patience is built. This is where trust is tested. This is where faith is proven. Anybody can believe when things are happening quickly. Anybody can celebrate when everything is falling into place. But what do you do when the answer is delayed? What do you do when the breakthrough doesn't come on your timeline? Do you give up? Do you walk away? Or do you stand firm, knowing that the one who promised is faithful? The right time is coming. The moment is already written. The doors will open when you are ready to walk through them. And when they do, you will understand why it had to take time. You will understand why you had to wait. You will understand why it couldn't happen earlier. Because when it happens, it will be so clear, so undeniable, so perfectly timed that you will know without a doubt it was worth every second of the wait. You have been through storms that should have destroyed you. You have faced battles that should have taken you out. You have walked through fires that should have consumed you, but somehow you are still here. Somehow you are still standing. Somehow, despite everything that tried to break you, you are still moving forward. And that is not by accident, that is not by coincidence, that is not by luck. You are still here because there is still something ahead for you. You are still here because your story is not over. You are still here because you have a purpose that is yet to be fulfilled. But do you know what the enemy wants? He wants you to forget that. He wants you to believe that because life has been hard, it will always be hard. He wants you to believe that because you have suffered, you will always suffer. He wants you to focus so much on what you have lost, on what has been broken, on what didn't work out, that you stop believing in what is still possible. He wants you to be so weighed down by your past that you can't even see your future. But listen to me. Your past does not define you. Your struggles do not define you. Your failures do not define you. I know life hasn't been easy. I know you have had moments where you wanted to give up. Moments where the weight of it all felt too heavy to carry. Moments where you felt like nobody understood, like nobody saw what you were going through. Moments where you cried behind closed doors, where you had to pretend to be strong when you felt weak inside. But let me tell you something. Every tear you cried was seen. Every silent battle you fought was noticed. Every moment of pain was not in vain. There is still a future for you. There is still something greater ahead. But you have to choose to keep going. You have to choose to rise again. You have to choose to believe that just because things have been hard doesn't mean they will always be hard. That just because you've been through the fire doesn't mean you won't come out stronger. That just because you've been knocked down doesn't mean you can't get back up. Think about this. When a tree is planted, it doesn't grow overnight. It takes time. It takes storms. It takes seasons of drought, seasons of wind, seasons of uncertainty. But the tree doesn't give up. It doesn't stop growing just because it's hard. It keeps pushing its roots deeper. It keeps reaching for the sunlight, and over time it grows into something strong, something unshakable, something that can withstand any storm. And that is what you are becoming. You are growing. You are being strengthened. You are being prepared for what is ahead. What you have been through was not meant to break you. It was meant to build you. The storms were not there to destroy you. They were there to teach you how to stand firm. The struggles were not there to bury you. They were there to plant you so that you could rise stronger than ever before. So don't let what you've been through make you forget where you're going. Don't let the weight of your past make you lose sight of your future. You have survived too much to give up now. You have come too far to stop now. You have fought too hard to quit now. There is still something greater ahead. There is still a future waiting for you. There is still more for you to become, more for you to do, more for you to step into. The enemy thought he had you. He thought that storm would take you out. He thought that setback would make you give up. He thought that failure would break you beyond repair. But look at you. You are still here. You are still standing. And if you are still here, that means there is still more ahead. That means there is still something greater waiting for you. That means your story is not over yet. So don't stop now. Don't quit now. Don't let the past hold you back, because the best is still ahead of you. You have been carrying so much for so long. The weight of disappointment, the burden of regret, the pain of things that didn't go the way you planned, the memories of what was and the uncertainty of what will be. You have been walking through life with things that were never meant to stay with you. Things that were supposed to be temporary, but somewhere along the way you held on too tightly. And now you feel exhausted. You feel worn out. You feel like you have been fighting battle after battle with no relief, no rest, no moment to breathe. But let me tell you something. You were never meant to carry all of that on your own. You were never meant to bear the weight of the past when there is a future waiting for you. There are things in your life that have already served their purpose. There are battles that are already over, but you are still carrying the scars as if the war is still being fought. There are doors that have already closed, but you keep looking back as if they might open again. There are people who have walked away, but you keep holding on to their memory as if that will bring them back. But listen to me. You cannot step into what is ahead while you are still holding on to what is behind. You can't receive new blessings with clenched fists holding on to old pain. You can't move forward while you are still dragging the weight of yesterday. You can't embrace the new when you are still clinging to the past. And I know it's hard to let go. I know it's difficult to release something that felt so familiar, so comfortable, so safe. Even pain can become familiar. Even struggles can become a place of comfort because at least you know what to expect. But there comes a time when you have to make a choice. Do you want to stay in what is comfortable even if it's hurting you? Or do you want to step into something greater even if it means letting go of what you've known? Think about a person carrying a heavy bag. At first, it's manageable. At first, they don't even notice the weight. But as time passes, as miles go by, the weight starts to feel heavier. Their shoulders start to ache. Their back starts to bend. Their steps become slower. And yet they keep holding on, not because they need to, but because they've been carrying it for so long that they don't know what it feels like to be free. That is what happens when you carry things that you were never meant to keep. That is what happens when you hold on to burdens that should have been released a long time ago. But what if you set it down? What if you finally let go? What if you allowed yourself to be free from the weight that has been holding you back? Because here's the truth. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is gaining. Letting go is making room. Letting go is stepping into something new, something lighter, something greater. When you release what is no longer meant for you, you make space for what is. When you stop holding on to past pain, you make room for healing. When you stop carrying yesterday's baggage, you free yourself to move forward with strength. And I know it's not easy. I know it's painful. I know that releasing something you once held dear feels like a loss. But what if the very thing you are afraid to let go of is what's keeping you from the breakthrough you've been praying for? What if the reason you feel stuck is because you haven't made space for what's next? You don't have to carry this forever. You don't have to walk with this burden for the rest of your life. You don't have to be weighed down by things that were never meant to stay. There is freedom waiting for you. There is peace waiting for you. There is a future that cannot begin until you decide that your past no longer has the right to hold you back. So today, make the decision. Let go of the pain. Let go of the regret. Let go of the disappointment. Let go of the things you cannot change. Let go of the people who left. Let go of the failures that haunt you. Let go of the weight that is slowing you down. Because when you do, you will finally see that what is ahead of you is so much greater than anything you had to leave behind. There are moments in life when everything feels uncertain, when the road ahead is unclear, when you wake up in the morning and instead of feeling excited about the future, you feel lost, you feel stuck, you feel like you are wandering in a place where nothing makes sense, where the path forward is hidden, where every step feels like it leads to nowhere. And in those moments, the enemy tries to whisper in your ear, you have no direction. You are going in circles. You are wasting your time. But let me tell you something. Just because you can't see the way doesn't mean there isn't one. Just because you don't have all the answers doesn't mean there isn't a plan. Just because you feel lost doesn't mean you are. Sometimes the greatest journeys begin in the wilderness. Sometimes the most powerful transformations happen in the places of uncertainty. Because it's in those seasons when everything feels unclear, when nothing is going according to plan, when you feel like you're walking through a fog, that something deeper is happening inside of you. You are learning to trust beyond what you can see. You are learning to walk forward even when you don't know what's ahead. You are learning to rely not on your own understanding, but on a wisdom that is greater than yours. Have you ever been driving on a road at night? The headlights only show you a few feet ahead. You can't see the whole journey. You can't see the final destination. But you don't stop the car just because you can't see the entire road. You don't pull over and give up just because the way ahead is dark. No, you keep moving forward, trusting that as you go, more of the road will be revealed. And that is exactly how life works. You may not see the full picture now. You may not understand why you are where you are. You may not know exactly how things will turn out. But if you just keep moving forward step by step, little by little, things will start to make sense. But here's what you cannot do. You cannot let fear paralyze you. You cannot let the unknown stop you from taking the next step. You cannot sit still waiting for every detail to be perfectly clear before you move. Because sometimes clarity doesn't come before the step. Clarity comes with the step. Understanding doesn't always come before obedience. It comes after. The answers don't always come in the beginning. Sometimes they are revealed only after you take the first move. Think about a seed planted in the ground. When it is first buried, it looks like nothing is happening. It's surrounded by darkness. It's covered by soil. It cannot see the sun. It cannot feel the fresh air, but something is happening beneath the surface. The seed is breaking open. Roots are beginning to grow. A transformation is taking place even though nothing is visible yet. And if that seed had feelings, it might think, I'm lost. I'm buried. I'm forgotten. But the truth is, it is not buried, it is planted, it is not forgotten. It is in the process of growing into something greater. That is where you are right now. You are not lost. You are being prepared. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are in a season of unseen growth. You are not in the dark forever. Soon, what has been happening beneath the surface will begin to show. Soon, the roots that have been forming will give you the strength to rise. Soon, the waiting will turn into something beautiful. So don't give up just because you don't have all the answers yet. Don't stop walking just because you can't see the whole road. Don't let fear convince you that because you don't know everything, you don't know anything. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are not without purpose. Even now, even in this moment, something is being worked out for your good. And when the time is right, when the process is complete, when everything that needs to be prepared is ready, you will look back and realize that every step, even the ones that felt uncertain, were leading you exactly where you needed to be. There are moments in life when you feel like you have given everything you have, and yet it still isn't enough. You have prayed, you have fought, you have endured, you have sacrificed, and still things haven't changed the way you expected them to. You look around and wonder, how much more can I take? How much longer do I have to wait? How many more battles do I have to fight before I finally see a breakthrough? And in that place, in that moment of exhaustion, the thought crosses your mind, maybe I should just quit. Maybe I should just let go of this dream. Maybe I should stop believing that things will ever be different. Maybe I should stop hoping, stop trying, stop expecting, because it feels like no matter what I do, nothing seems to change. But listen to me, just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. Just because the battle has been long doesn't mean the victory isn't coming. Just because the door hasn't opened yet doesn't mean it never will. This is not the time to quit. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to walk away from everything you have fought so hard for, because the moment you feel like giving up the most is often the moment right before you break through. The moment when the pressure is the heaviest, when the weight feels unbearable, when the struggle feels endless, that is often the moment just before things shift in your favor. Have you ever seen a runner at the end of a marathon? Their legs are burning, their chest is on fire, their body is screaming for them to stop. They are exhausted, they are in pain, they have nothing left to give. But do you know what keeps them going? They know that the finish line is near. They know that if they can just push a little bit further, if they can just take one more step, if they can just endure for a little while longer, they will make it to the place they have been running toward this whole time. And that is where you are right now. You are closer than you think. You may feel exhausted, but you are not empty. You may feel weak, but there is still strength inside of you. You may feel like you have nothing left, but if you dig deep, if you refuse to quit, if you keep pressing forward, you will reach the place that was always meant for you. But the enemy wants you to believe otherwise. He wants you to believe that because things are hard, they will always be hard. He wants you to believe that because you've struggled, you will always struggle. He wants you to believe that because the door hasn't opened yet, it never will, but that is a lie. Because the truth is, every time you keep going, when you feel like quitting, you are proving that you are stronger than your struggle. Every time you refuse to give up, you are getting closer to what was meant for you. Every time you push forward, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when you don't understand why things are taking so long, you are stepping closer to the breakthrough that is already on its way. Think about a woman in labor. The pain is intense. The contractions are unbearable. Every second feels like it will never end. But no mother stops pushing in the middle of labor. No mother gives up when she is right on the edge of delivering something precious, because she knows that the pain she is feeling is not a sign of destruction. It is a sign of something about to be born. And that is what is happening in your life right now. The pressure you are feeling, the intensity of the battle, the weight of the struggle, it is not there to destroy you. It is there because something is about to shift. Something is about to break open. Something is about to be birthed in your life. But only if you don't quit, only if you keep pushing, only if you hold on just a little longer. This is not the time to let go of your faith. This is not the time to surrender to doubt. This is not the time to believe the lies that tell you it's never going to happen. You have come too far to turn back now. You have fought too hard to give up now. You have endured too much to walk away now. Keep going. Keep believing. Keep pushing forward, because the finish line is closer than you think. The breakthrough is nearer than you realize. And the promise you have been waiting for is right on the other side of your perseverance. Don't quit now. You are too close to the victory that has already been prepared for you. Sometimes we go through seasons that feel like they will never end. Seasons of struggle, seasons of pain, seasons of disappointment, seasons where it feels like every door is closed and every prayer goes unanswered. There are times when you ask yourself, what's the point of all this? Why am I still waiting? Why am I still hoping? Why am I still fighting for something that seems so far out of reach? And when that doubt creeps in, when those questions begin to form in your mind, it's easy to want to give up. It's easy to want to throw in the towel and say, this is it. I've tried and it hasn't worked. I'm done. But here's the thing. Just because you don't see the answer yet doesn't mean the answer is not coming. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. Just because the way seems unclear doesn't mean you are lost. In those moments of doubt, in those moments when everything around you seems like it's falling apart, you have to hold on to something deeper than what you can see, something stronger than what you can feel, because even in the darkest times, the truth is this: God is still working. He is still moving. He is still on your side, even when it feels like you are alone. You see, there's this misconception that just because things are hard, just because things don't make sense, it must mean that you are doing something wrong or that God has abandoned you. But that's not true. Sometimes the hardest seasons are the ones where God is doing his deepest work. Sometimes the places of struggle are the very places where growth happens. Think about it. Nothing grows without pressure. Diamonds don't form without extreme heat and pressure. A seed doesn't become a tree without being buried in the dark earth. And it's the same with your life. The struggles you are facing, the challenges that feel impossible, the things that make you wonder if it's worth it, they are not there to destroy you. They are there to build you. They are there to shape you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for what is coming. God is never surprised by your circumstances. He is never caught off guard by your struggles. He is never out of control. And although you may not see the purpose behind the pain right now, the promise is that one day you will. One day you will look back and realize that every tear, every moment of doubt, every difficult season was part of a plan that was designed for your good. It might not make sense today, but one day it will. And the thing is, you may never know the full extent of the impact of your journey, the full scope of how your perseverance will inspire someone else, how your strength will be a testimony for others. But what you can know for sure is that God is using every moment of your life, even the hardest ones, for His greater purpose. Now, I know it's easy to want to quit when things are hard. It's easy to want to walk away when the breakthrough hasn't come yet. But listen to me. You are closer than you think. Every day you choose to keep going, you are one step closer to the victory that has already been prepared for you. Every day you choose to hold on to your faith, even when it feels like everything around you is falling apart. You are one step closer to the breakthrough you've been praying for. Every day you choose to trust, even when trust is hard, even when it's difficult, even when you don't understand. You are one step closer to the promise that will be fulfilled. It might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow. It might take longer than you want it to. But the truth is, God's timing is perfect. And sometimes we can't see the whole picture. We can't see what He is doing behind the scenes, the things He is arranging, the doors He is opening, the people He is moving into place. We don't always understand His ways, but we don't have to. We simply have to trust that He knows what He is doing. We simply have to hold on to the fact that He is a good God, that He is faithful, that He has not forgotten about us, and that He has a plan for us that is greater than anything we could imagine. So if you are in that place of waiting right now, if you are in that place of wondering if it's ever going to happen, if you are in that place of doubt, I want to encourage you to keep holding on. Don't let go of your faith. Don't give up on your dream. Don't stop trusting in God's plan for your life. The road may be hard, the journey may be long, but God is not through with you yet. He has not forgotten about you. He has not left you. He is with you in the waiting and the struggle and the pain, and He is working all things together for your good. There is a purpose in your journey. There is a reason for the pain. And one day, when you look back, you will see the beauty that was formed in the process. You will see the growth that happened in the struggle. You will see how every moment, every season, every trial led you to the place you were always meant to be. And you will know without a doubt that God was with you every step of the way.